No one expected the moment Sam Heughan suddenly opened up about Caitríona Balfe's health. It happened during an interview that was supposed to be lighthearted, filled with jokes and casual conversation. But somewhere in the middle, Sam's expression shifted, and the energy in the room changed instantly. He hesitated, took a breath, and his voice softened in a way that caught everyone off guard. Within seconds, the entire Outlander fandom felt a chill run down their spine. For years, fans had noticed small signs, brief absences, subtle fatigue, a tightness in Katrina's smile during certain events. They assumed it was work pressure or scheduling conflicts. But Sam's tone as he spoke made those small details feel much heavier. When he said, "There was a time I was really scared for her," the room fell silent. It wasn't the kind of sentence you say casually. The interviewer, clearly rattled, gently asked what he meant. Sam didn't go into specifics, but the emotion behind his eyes said more than any detailed explanation ever could. He mentioned a difficult period and health challenges Katrina faced quietly. Fans watching live felt their stomachs drop. It was the first time Sam acknowledged something serious had happened, something the public had never been told. What struck people most was how Sam's voice cracked slightly when he continued, "I didn't know if she'd be okay." Those words ignited a wave of panic across the internet. Clips of the moment spread rapidly, and millions of fans replayed them, trying to understand the gravity behind what Sam had just revealed. His body language, hands clasped tightly, eyes lowered, told a story far more emotional than the words alone. Within minutes, social media erupted in worry. Hashtags like #PrayForKatrina, #StayStrongKate, and #SamOpensUp climbed the worldwide trending lists. Fans begged for information, hoping Katrina was safe. They revisited interviews where she had seemed more tired than usual. They rewatched scenes where her energy felt slightly off. Everything suddenly made sense, but in the saddest way possible. To make matters more emotional, Sam continued speaking as though he couldn't hold it in anymore. He said there were days when Katrina pushed through filming even when she clearly wasn't well. He described moments when she smiled through discomfort so no one would worry. It was heartbreaking for fans who admired her strength, grace, and near superhuman work ethic. Now they realized that Grace had been covering something painful. Sam also hinted that Katrina hadn't wanted anyone to fuss over her. "She didn't want to worry people," he said, his voice heavy. "She always puts others first." That line devastated listeners. It matched everything the world knew about Katrina, her professionalism, her kindness, her quiet resilience. But it also revealed the emotional burden she had been carrying alone, or nearly alone. What shocked fans even more was the protective way Sam spoke about her. His words didn't sound like simple concern for a colleague. They sounded like the anguish of someone who had felt powerless during a frightening moment. He admitted he had checked on her constantly, and that the situation made him rethink the importance of health and relationships. Those confessions added fuel to an emotional firestorm the fandom wasn't ready for. Speculation grew as fans recalled a period when Katrina had unexpectedly missed an event, and her team cited personal reasons. At the time, people assumed it was a scheduling conflict. Now, fans wondered if that was when her health declined. The pieces fit too perfectly. The fandom's anxiety grew as fans connected every past hint they had brushed aside. As the clip continued, Sam's emotional transparency deepened. He said there were moments when he felt helpless, which devastated fans who had never seen him so vulnerable. He wasn't recounting a casual memory. He was recalling a moment that had left a mark on him. Something serious had happened, and Sam had clearly been shaken by it. Then came the line that shook the fandom hardest. Sam quietly said, I thought there was a chance we could lose her." Those words hit like a thunderbolt. It was the rawest, saddest confession he had ever shared publicly. Fans across the world burst into tears, terrified of what Katrina had gone through. Even the interviewer sat speechless, unable to move on to the next question. By the time the clip ended, the entire Outlander community was in mourning. For something they didn't fully understand, but felt deeply. No one knew the details. No one knew when it had happened or how serious it truly was. But one thing was clear. Sam had carried this fear for a long time, and speaking about it had reopened a wound he never wanted to show. As the fandom begged for answers, one chilling thought echoed everywhere. If Sam was this emotional, then Katrina's health battle must have been far more serious than anyone ever imagined. As Sam's emotional confession spread across the internet, fans waited desperately for Caitríona Balfe to say something, anything, that would ease their worry. But she stayed silent. Hours passed, then an entire day. Her absence online only intensified the fear. People began to wonder whether she was still recovering, whether she didn't want to relive a painful chapter, or whether Sam had revealed something she never expected to become public. Behind the scenes, multiple sources hinted that Katrina's silence wasn't avoidance, it was reflection. She had seen the clip the moment it went viral. She had watched Sam's trembling voice, the way his eyes softened, the way he seemed to relive the fear all over again. Those moments stirred memories she had tried hard to forget. Memories of hospital rooms, exhaustion, and the overwhelming pressure to keep going even when her body begged her to stop. It was a chapter she thought she had buried. When Katrina finally spoke publicly, she did so during a short interview at a charity event. Her smile was gentle but fragile, and fans immediately sensed she wasn't fully herself. When the interviewer cautiously mentioned Sam's heartfelt comments, Katrina's eyes shifted downward for a moment, gathering strength. Then she lifted her head and said quietly, "I didn't want people to worry about me." The softness in her voice broke the fandom's heart. She continued, speaking slowly as if choosing words she had never planned to share. "There was a time when my health wasn't at its best. I tried to keep it private, not because it was shameful, but because I didn't want it to overshadow the work we do." Her tone carried gratitude and fatigue in equal measure. Fans could hear the truth beneath her calm exterior. She had been much sicker than anyone knew. Then came the moment that shattered fans emotionally. Katrina said, "Sam was there for me in ways people will never understand." Her voice trembled just enough to reveal how deeply his support had mattered. It wasn't a co-star speaking about a colleague. It was a friend acknowledging someone who had held her up when she couldn't stand alone. The weight of her gratitude hung in the air like a quiet storm. The interviewer asked whether she knew Sam would speak about it publicly. Katrina shook her head gently. "No, I didn't, but I know why he did. He's always been protective." Her eyes glistened with emotion, though she blinked it away quickly. Fans immediately sensed she wasn't angry, she was overwhelmed. Sam had revealed something personal out of heartbreak, not betrayal. But the drama took a new turn when an insider revealed details about the night Katrina collapsed on set. According to them, Katrina had pushed herself far beyond her limit while filming a physically demanding scene. She had insisted she was fine, but her body gave out without warning. Sam was reportedly the first person to reach her, lifting her into his arms and calling for medical help. The description sent fans into tears. They imagined the fear, the chaos, the helplessness Sam must have felt. The insider added that Sam had visited her in the hospital late into the night, refusing to leave until doctors gave him an update. Tony McGill, her husband, arrived shortly after, but sources said Sam stayed longer than anyone else. This detail caused a new wave of online debate. Some fans criticized Tony's late arrival, while others insisted people were reading too much into it. But the emotional weight of Sam's presence was undeniable. Meanwhile, Sam remained quiet after Katrina's interview, but his silence felt protective rather than distant. Insiders claimed he was relieved she finally addressed the issue, but guilty for dragging her into an emotional spotlight she hadn't asked for. Friends close to him said he had struggled with fear for months. Fear that she was pushing herself too hard, fear that something irreversible might happen, fear that he might lose someone who meant the world to him. The situation escalated when a new report suggested Sam had wanted to speak about Katrina's health much earlier but had been advised not to. They said he held onto the secret for months, carrying the emotional weight alone. This revelation only intensified fans' admiration for him, and their heartbreak over the bond the two had navigated through pain and uncertainty. But the most emotional moment came from Katrina herself. She posted a rare message on social media, addressed indirectly to Sam. "Thank you for being there when I wasn't at my strongest. Some people hold you together without ever asking for credit." It was short, simple, but profoundly intimate. Fans exploded into tears and speculation. It was the closest she had ever come to publicly acknowledging the depth of their connection. The message triggered another wave of global discussion. Was this the moment their bond strengthened? Was it a silent acknowledgement of how much Sam meant to her? Was this the truth behind years of unspoken closeness? As the dust settled, one thing became clear. Whatever Katrina had endured, she hadn't endured it alone. And whatever Sam had feared, it had changed him deeply. Their connection, long admired, endlessly speculated about, had survived one of the most difficult chapters of their lives. And now the world finally understood why Sam's voice broke when he talked about losing her. Some truths are painful. Some truths are beautiful. This one was both.